We were chasing around on the gallops earlier in one of the vehicles, and I was told to mention that you have unofficially been declared the best dressed trainer. Now, can you tell me the origins of this, and is that the case?
It's news to me, but there was a guy on the television just the other day, and one of the fellas in the studio said that I think Micky Hammond's down at the starting stalls there with a horse of his that is reluctant to go in, and this well-known pundit said, well, if he's wearing a pair of shorts and a waistcoat, it's definitely Micky Hammond. Everybody knows that I wore shorts for a period of time, going back a few years ago now, for 5 charities, but I think we're going back at least 7 or 8 years ago now. But yeah, I like to wear a nice suit or a smart pair of trousers, but I nearly always at work on a morning and quite often at the races in the afternoon wear a waistcoat.
Okay, so get a little bit more serious. It's been done to death, I know, everybody's been talking about it. 2 hot topics at the time of the interview. One of them is the old whip debate. What would your opinions be on where we are with, the air cushioned padded whip?
I think that we've got it somewhere near right. That's my own personal view. I used to, as you well know, ride on the track, and different style of whip those days, different whip rules, but I think a lot of time and effort and work has gone into this, and I think the 7 strokes or 7 smacks with the whip is about right. You do find that if they don't go for 2 or 3 encouraging smacks with the whip, another 22 or 23 is not going to make a great deal of difference. We feel also in our yard that if, say, running to the 2 furlong marker or jumping the second last obstacle, and our horse is in contention, but our jockey's the first to go for his whip, it invariably means we're beat. In
your career as a jockey, do you ever remember thinking that one more crack I would have won it, that sort of thing, or is it not?
Just occasionally. There was I cannot remember the horse now. It was at I think I might have been on something like Ballydarrow at Newcastle in the Balco hurdle or something, and I came away that particular day thinking, well, if I'd have just given him one more backhander instead of getting beat a short head, we might have won a short head. But I used the whip fairly sparingly as a jockey because I felt that in lots of cases horses were giving their best in any case. Some horses certainly did curl up under the whip, under pressure, and I would rather sort of squeeze, coax, even sort of growl or hiss in their ears just to encourage them to go forward, rather than flopping around on the back of them and getting them unbalanced, waving a whip.
Okay, and you've got a lot of ladies in the yard. Some of them, one of them at least we've interviewed earlier, a good rider. What would your a race rider we're talking? What would your opinion on somebody's muted that female jockeys should be given an allowance? What would your opinion on that be? A weight allowance?
Well, they all start off the same as the lads, claiming 7, and in lots of cases the girls in years gone by haven't lost their 7 or their 5 or 3 as quickly as the lads have. But in recent times that is changing. I would feel that treat them the same as the lads. They ride really well. Some horses certainly do run better for the more sympathetic handling, but also there's plenty of good girls that know how to use the whip in the right way and get the best out of their horses. So I'm one for a level playing field for the lads and the girls.
Okay, now is there anything else that's a bugbear for you in racing that you think could be improved that hasn't been or not been addressed as of yet?
Well, we've got the usual chestnut of at the lower end where prize money levels definitely need to be better. I think there is probably too much racing at the lower end, but we're not running around for any more prize money now 30 years after me packing up as a jockey. Well, that's surely got to be wrong, because 30 years ago the prize money levels were probably just only okay. So things have moved on a lot since then. But to actually reduce racing, people feel that this will actually bring a little bit more money into the lower end of the racing scale, but it doesn't quite work like that, as we well know. I also feel that racing staff who are looked after far better now than ever before, still at certain race courses can be looked after better. Overnight accommodation especially, they should get free food and drink at all the race courses, in my opinion, when they're there working in a certain time. And also I do feel that the owners should get a far better deal. It's their horses that are the entertainment for the afternoon, and in certain cases some of the race courses are still back in the 1970s.
Okay, now I've come down with Andy Gibson today, who's a well-known sort of punter, and he tells me that he's never known a happier yard. Now, is that something that you'd agree with, for starters, and is it something you've had to work on, or you're just naturally blessed that you've got people that have come in and really get on together, and is it important?
Very important. It's more by design than luck, but you do need your luck to have the right staff that are either being sent to you or want to join the team, and then we try and have sort of team bonding sessions where they've been paintballing, they've been bowling, we've been to Lightwater Valley on numerous occasions, we've been to the Forbidden Corner. We'll have a night out.
What's the Forbidden Corner?
Yeah, I'll let your imagination run away with you there with a team of racing staff. We've been to the Greyhounds, so we do try and encourage that side of it. So as we've got almost like a family team working together, but it's not that easy to do when you've maybe sort of 20 members of staff and 70 horses, and if it got bigger than that, I'd find it quite difficult to try and do and try and achieve. But generally we want people to come to Micky Hammond Racing, work hard, do well, and when they move on from Micky Hammond Racing, we like them to do even better. Okay,
now in Midland where we are, there's a lot of yards. What's the camaraderie like in the wider scheme of things with other yards? A friendly rivalry, or is there a rivalry?
I would say very good, to be honest about it. The yards, they mix well. There's the 4 pubs in Midland itself, good eating places, the same as what there is in Leyburn, which is only 2 miles away, and that Midland and Leyburn are where the majority of the racing staff would either live or rent accommodation. And with the fact that they are better paid now, they are able to get out a lot more socially than what they used to be able to back in my day, or before my day. You worked 12.5 days out of 14, on your weekend off, the Saturday afternoon and the Sunday, all day Sunday, that would allow you to go out on the Saturday night and have a good session or of whatever you wanted really, and then sleep it off the next day. But this day and age, because they are better looked after, and it's for the good, they're able to go out for a meal in the week and have a drink in the week, where as a few years ago it was unheard of.
Okay, now just a couple of questions. Obviously horse racing revolves around gambling. It's financed by gambling, but a lot of people seem to think it's a bit of a dirty word. I mean, in your yard, would the planning of a horse's career involve, right, we'll see if we can land a punt here, you know, is that sort of bear into how you plan things?
I wouldn't say the horse's career, but Jack Ramsden said to me many years ago, I used to ride out there, and he said if you get a horse well handicapped, the horse is made for life. And I'm a great believer in that, because when a horse has his first mark, he can, either if he's been put in too high or an impossible task or whatever, he can drop down maybe 10 pounds in 5 runs, You win that race, the handicapper soon puts him back up to that original mark that you had him on.
Okay. So what would, I mean, you've been very successful up here. What would your ultimate ambition as a trainer be? Or have you already, have you got to where you want to be?
Well, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. We like having winners. And just ticking along, really, to be honest with you. I enjoy the camaraderie in the yard. I like working and dealing with the horses and the staff. It's nice on nice mornings like this morning with owners coming into the yard. We carry on as per normal, and they've just got to tag along with us, really. But nothing changes that way around. Having worked in racing since I left school, which we're going back now 40 years, going up and down that A1 can be a little bit more tedious than what it was 20, 30 years ago. So I tend to spend a little bit more time in the yard than what I do at the races. But the hard work and the preparation of the horses is all done at home. We've got some good staff that are well capable of putting the saddle on the right way round at the races, and good honest, competent jockeys that work and ride for us.
Okay, lovely. Micky Hammond, thank you very much.
Thank you.